Yesterday, I made a trip to Roaring Spring. It was Wednesday. That's my normal day. That's what I try to do. And something that was different about yesterday's trip was I went to the office of the Morrison's Cove Herald. Now, there's a Morrison's Cove Herald for you. It's a weekly newspaper, and it says here spokesman for the Cove since 1885. So it's a really old paper. I didn't realize that. Uh, and the Cove is Morrison's Cove. Roaring Spring is at one outlet of the Cove. That's another matter. But anyway, I went there because I wanted to make sure that it was announced to the public that there was going to be this sing-along, including of Christmas hymns and carols, traditional ones, together with some choruses from Messiah, that it was announced to the public. And I thought I could get maybe not even get an announcement in there, but I wanted to write an article about it because I think it's pretty special what's happening there. Well, interesting, as I'm standing at the door, thinking, here I go again. I'm about to meet people I've never met before. I'm going someplace I've never been before. I'm almost 80 years old. What am I doing? But I thought that's what I've done in the past. And I go in, and I was made very welcome immediately by a young woman named Kate, maybe Katie, I don't know, Kate, I think, and she was interested, and she immediately started to take notes. And eventually I realized, well, I wasn't going to have to write this article. She would write it, which was good because she'd do a whole lot better job. But I ended up telling her the bare necessities at the beginning to explain why I was there, but then some of the more details about it. And I'm sure that there'll be a lovely article about it next Thursday in the Morrison's Cove Herald. She even indicated that she'd take pictures. Now this event is December 21st, Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock at the Spring Dam Brewery. And she knew the Spring Dam Brewery. She said she'd been there many times. Young woman. She'd also worked at the Bedford Gazette, which is a daily newspaper here in Bedford. She'd worked there for a while. And when I mentioned Messiah, she knew Messiah. She said when they had been she'd gone to college at Lock Haven, and the choir would give a Christmas concert or something, and they'd usually at some point invite all kinds of alumni up onto the stage to sing. Probably it was the Hallelujah chorus, I imagine. And for a while, that was done in Bedford High School as well. I'm fairly sure. Now, incidentally, when high school kids are singing the Hallelujah chorus, they usually sing it in the key of C. It's originally in the key of D, which is one full step higher. It's pretty high at times for sopranos. But anyway, that's beside the point. So anyway, she took all this information and was very anxious to talk and interested. So I kept talking, and I eventually let it out that, well, and I told her about the one that was going to be is going to be in Hollidaysburg, the sing-along, on the 19th, that's Friday night, at the First Brethren Church. I told her a little bit about that because she said sometimes they cover news in more outside of Morrison's Cove in Hollidaysburg, and so at least she had that information. And I told her about the Messiah concert that had just occurred in Bedford. That was last Sunday. At $20 a piece tickets. This is in Bedford, a little town in central Pennsylvania. But I said I'm sure it was worth the $20 for people who could afford it. But while I'm on that, I want to say a little bit more about that. My own event, or our event, the Dutch Corner History Group, it was very minimally attended. There were barely enough people there to be able to sing the Messiah choruses. As it was, I had to sing bass, and I once was a mediocre baritone. Now I'm certainly no bass, and I'm worse than mediocre. I can hit the notes, but my voice is the voice of an old man. And I had to conduct, so it was a, but I had some true blood for my tenors, a tenor woman, two tenors, actually two women tenors, uh, a wonderful alto, a wonderful soprano, and that was enough that we could pull it off. There might have been a few others, but it was a struggle. But as I explained to the audience, I used it as an occasion to teach a bunch about choral music because I had the time, and but I also explained to them that why it was that we were so poorly attended, and it was because we knew that there was going to be a concert that very night that started at 4:30 the very evening, and ours was at 2. But I reasoned that singers could come to ours to help out and to enjoy the music and then go to the concert. Uh, I didn't realize that there was going to be a rehearsal at exactly the same time as our event. So almost all of my best singers from the past, from the Dutch Corner Concert Choir, uh, were they had that choice to make if they knew about mine, and they went to the other because they really almost had to. It was a dress rehearsal with instrumentalists coming from 100 miles away and paid professional soloists. I assume a paid conductor, director. I don't know too many details about it. But before the afternoon was over, one of the people there attending said that they had just heard that group in Bedford had gotten a $10,000 endowment to get it going again, which is just wonderful. And I hope it can, because it's been like 20, 25 years that went on in Bedford until COVID hit, and then it died. And that's when we came back. And so twice over, my little church, we had the first sing-along of Messiah back about 1980, before it started in Bedford. And then last year we had a sing-along which included some courses of Messiah, and that was what gave birth to what happened in Bedford. So we struggled through our event, but we can be comforted by knowing the success that our little church, Messiah Lutheran Church in Dutch Corner, the effect that it's had on music in Bedford, although most Bedford people don't have any idea. Well, that's kind of an aside. But back to this coming one, and my experience with the editor, and there was a senior editor, I believe, that came in as well. There were two women there, as I was talking about this stuff, and I don't know what they'll do with it, but they'll probably do something well. But anyway, it came out that I said, well, you might be interested to know that my interest in Roaring Spring is very strong. And I even explained to them that I have created online a campus to Frank's school, which if you're watching this video, you're watching a video on Frank's school YouTube channel online. And there's Frank's School Camp Ranch campus when it's about what's going on right here physically. And now there's also a a Roaring Spring campus of Frank's School. And I told these newspaper women about it. And I told them when I was doing it, I said there's nothing official about it. I had just decided that there was enough to be studied and learned and taught in and around Roaring Spring that I should just regard it as its own campus. And I told him, if you want to, I told the younger of Kate, I told her, if you're interested, if you just go to YouTube, my channel, Frank's School, and go to the playlists and find a playlist that says Roaring Spring Campus of Frank's School, there you'll see this might be the 30th video. It's who knows where that's going to go. And so I'm sure I'll hear from her about that. And while I was at it, talking, I explained about having met the man who is in control of, who owns the the site of the former Roaring Spring paper mill. I could tell you that it turned out that the young editor reporter had been to see him too, but had not been accepted. It just had been really dismissed. He was not going to be making a press release. But something that did not happen to me, of course, I wasn't representing any newspaper. I just told them, hey, I'm interested in what's going on up in Roaring Spring, and I just would like to have some idea of what's going on here. And he had shared some stuff with me, and I told the ladies about that it's on this in this very playlist right here, where I think it's under the title "I Met the Owner of the Roaring Spring Paper Mill Site." So anyway, there's more to say about yesterday's experience at Roaring Spring campus. And if you think, well, but Morrison's Cove, what's that have to do with Roaring Spring? Well, it's in Martinsburg, which is more central to Morrison's Cove. Someday I'll no doubt do a video about Morrison's Cove, which is, it's a fairly large area encircled by mountains. But I won't do that right now. I'd say that's enough for just right now.